Welcome to Men and Masculinities, Constructing Manhood in America. For all practical purposes, you are all together in one class. But technically, you are registered for one of two sections. Some of you are registered for Humanities 107, section number 32093, and some of you are registered for Women's and Gender Studies 107, section number 31181. Whichever section you're registered for, Men and Masculinities is an asynchronous online course, so we won't have any face-to-face class sessions this semester. But I thought it'd be better if you had my face to go with my name, so I'm your professor, Chad Green. In Men and Masculinities this semester, we'll be having discussions, informed by our readings of both scholarly sources and popular sources, about characteristics and roles that our society tends to associate with manhood. Along the way, we will also be learning essentials of masculinity studies as an academic discipline, delineating gender theories, evaluating the social construction and politics of gender, analyzing the intersections of gender with race, ethnicity, social class, ability, and sexual orientation, and identifying issues of men and masculinities in a global context. Because my home department at Cerritos College is English, I want to take a moment to point out that both of the nouns in the title of our class are plural, not singular. That is, this is a class about men and masculinities, not man and masculinity. This is a choice that was made carefully, not carelessly, because there is no one way to be a man in our society, and there is no one form of masculinity. This is one of the most important points that Dr. Michael Kimmel makes in our required textbook, Manhood in America, A Cultural History. Because I understand that some of you will need a little while to purchase your copy of the 4th edition of Manhood in America, we won't start to read it in earnest until the 3rd or the 4th week of our class. However, to be successful in our class this semester, you will need to secure consistent access to a copy of this text by then. But that's information about the 3rd or the 4th week of class. I'm guessing that you're even more interested in knowing what we're going to be doing this first week, right? Well, we'll start out this first week of Men and Masculinities by completing your required online orientation. After watching this welcome video, there are 3 remaining steps in that orientation process to complete by 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday, January 14th. First, read your syllabus. Second, take your orientation quiz, which is based on the information in this video and in the syllabus. Third, post your introduction video. To find all these materials, all in one place, click on the link labeled Modules on our Canvas site for Men and Masculinities. Then, we'll end this week by first making a land acknowledgement for our class and analyzing a myth of the Tongva, the native people of much of what we now know as Los Angeles County, Orange County, and the Channel Islands. Then, we'll start to build a shared vocabulary of terms related to our discussion of men and masculinities this semester, and practice applying those terms to our respective interpretations of a painting depicting life in a Tongva village. Again, you can find all these materials by clicking on Modules. That is, by the way, how I recommend you and your classmates navigate our online class, by clicking on Modules. That way, you'll see all the elements of the class arranged in the order I intend for you to complete them. I also want to clarify what I mean by this week. In Men and Masculinities this semester, our weeks will typically start on Tuesdays and end on Mondays. Your online orientation for Men and Masculinities, though, is an exception to that pattern. As I mentioned earlier, the official due date for completing your online orientation is 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday, January 14th. Unofficially, though, you can take until 5:59 a.m. on Wednesday, January 15th, to complete your 3 remaining steps in the orientation process. After that, most of the official due dates for assignments in our Men and Masculinities class this semester will instead be set for 11:59 p.m. on Mondays. However, because next Monday, January 20th, is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, the remaining assignments for Module 0 will be due next Tuesday, January 21st. If you have any questions about Men and Masculinities, please feel free to contact me. Because this is an online class, I prefer to be contacted by email at cgreen@cerritos.edu. However, you are also welcome to call me at extension 2826 or to chat with me during my office hours, which will be from 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. on Tuesdays and from 1 to 2 p.m. on Wednesdays. I look forward to working with you this semester in Men and Masculinities.